Imagine competing in a PUBG event with a $100,000 prize pool. Now imagine discovering that some participants are allegedly farming points while AFK, others are being accused of exploiting bugs to complete event sessions faster, and the guy leading these events publicly claims that many of the players at the top of the leaderboard are doing exactly that. It sounds like the kind of controversy that would dominate discussion across the PUBG community. Instead, almost nobody is talking about it. Today we're looking at two recent PUBG streamer events that offered massive prize pools, attracted PUBG partners, content creators, and professional eSports players, and raised serious questions about competitive integrity, account sharing, AFK farming, exploit abuse, and event enforcement. Let's break down what happened. For the first event, much of the leaderboard was dominated by Marcelek, a PUBG partner and Polish eSports player. Eventually, Marcelek was disqualified. In their own public statements, they explained that they had been using what they described as an AFK method to earn event points. They also claimed that many other players on the leaderboard were using similar tactics and that they had simply found a more effective way of doing it. So let's be clear about the core issue. Marcelek was disqualified for conduct that resulted in earning event progression while not actively participating as intended. The purpose of the tactic was to gain an advantage in the competition by accumulating points toward leaderboard rewards. The obvious question is, what do the event rules actually say? Interestingly, the event-specific rules do not appear to provide a detailed definition of cheating within the competition itself. Instead, participants are required to comply with PUBG's terms of service. The rules were published in multiple languages, including both English and Polish, meaning all participants had access to the same requirements and expectations. PUBG's terms of service refer to the rules of conduct, which is where the individual rules are stored that apply to this event as well as the rest of the game. Within PUBG's rules of conduct, there are provisions relating to AFK behavior and gameplay activity that can result in enforcement action. By disqualifying Marcelek and removing their event progression, PUBG appears to have applied an event-level penalty based on those rules. However, this raises another question. Was disqualification alone an adequate response? I think that the context matters. This was not a casual community challenge with no stakes attached. The top prize for finishing first on the streaming leaderboard was worth $20,000 USD. Whenever real money, sponsorship opportunities, and competitive rankings are involved, the standard for fair play should arguably be much higher. This is also where the situation becomes more significant. Marcelek is not only a player, they are both a PUBG partner and a professional eSports competitor. These positions carry additional responsibilities and expectations regarding conduct, reputation, and compliance with the game's rules. From the outside looking in, it appears that the minimum possible enforcement necessary to remove the player from the event was applied after the violation was identified. That naturally leads to further questions. First up, how is the minimum penalty justified? This was an attempt to win $20,000 USD in prize money by cheating. What does it require for the maximum penalty to be imposed if it's not at this level? Additionally, how widespread were AFK strategies during the event? Were other participants investigated and were any additional players disqualified? And if, as Marcelek claimed, similar behavior was occurring throughout the leaderboard, what conclusions should be drawn about the integrity of the competition as a whole? These are important questions because any disqualification for rule-breaking in a high-value event deserves scrutiny. The issue becomes even more interesting when we move to the second event aptly named Payday. This time, Marcelek returned, and this time finished at the top of the play leaderboard. Unlike the previous event, there was no disqualification. However, a new controversy emerged. Marcelek publicly alleged that other competitors were using a bug or exploit that allowed event sessions to be completed significantly faster than intended, effectively enabling players to earn points at a higher rate than legitimate gameplay would normally allow. The evidence linked in those posts appears to demonstrate that such an exploit existed. That raises another obvious question. If the exploit was real and being widely used, were any participants disqualified? Because if exploiting unintended game mechanics to gain a competitive advantage is occurring during a prize competition, many players would reasonably classify that as cheating. In theory, this should be relatively straightforward to investigate. If there is a minimum legitimate completion time for an event session, then event data could potentially be audited to identify accounts consistently completing sessions faster than that threshold. Players repeatedly posting impossible or near impossible completion times would immediately stand out. And it would seem that something like this was done this time. Here's the leaderboard where Marcelek has highlighted a bunch of accounts that he called out for doing this. He is saying that 70% of the top 10 are using an exploit to cheat on the event. And here's the final leaderboard once more. After the event closed, notice something? Every single one of those accounts has been removed from the leaderboard. I can only assume they were disqualified. There's another leaderboard though. This was open to everyone. It's the leaderboard for the arcade mode. Notice that those accounts removed from the player challenge are in this leaderboard still. While there's no cash prize on this, it still doesn't make sense that they aren't removed from this leaderboard also. So let's go back and look at these accounts that were removed. First up, there's these 4 that were farming the event together. They are all streamers, but importantly, they are also all eSports players. One is from Ukraine, the other 3 are Russian. This one is from Colombia in South America. They are also a registered eSports player for PUBG. And we can see who they teamed up with, 3 more of those in the accounts removed from the top 10. It's impossible to know for sure why these accounts were removed, but considering the allegations that were raised, it's not hard to get a good idea why. And of course, it's not just about the top 10. It would appear that many accounts were disqualified. Here's a post claiming some top-tier CIS-based streamers were removed from the competition. Once again, it appears to be eSports players being disqualified. It's interesting to look back at the prize allocation for the Xeno Point Play event. This ran alongside the Streamer Challenge and was open to everyone. You can see the 3 accounts which were later removed from the Payday leaderboard. I'm sure it's just a series of coincidences, right? Or does it raise serious concerns about the credibility of the final leaderboard and the prizes that have been paid out? There are also broader questions for PUBG and Krafton. In the Payday event, how did an exploit capable of affecting a major event remain available for so long? Why was it not patched more quickly? And perhaps most importantly, were these events structured in a way that unintentionally encouraged abuse? Both competitions required a minimum amount of streaming time, but the majority of leaderboard progression could be earned outside of those streamed hours. That creates an obvious temptation. The more valuable the prizes become, the stronger the incentive for players to maximize account activity around the clock. Marcelek has argued that the time investment displayed by some of the leaderboard competitors suggests this may have been occurring. Whether that claim is correct is ultimately for Krafton to investigate. Whenever large rewards are attached to grind-based events, organizers need systems capable of detecting account sharing, AFK farming, exploit abuse, and other forms of rule circumvention. Otherwise, players who follow the rules and compete in good faith may find themselves at a significant disadvantage against those willing to push beyond them. Ultimately, this isn't just a story about one player or one leaderboard. It's a story about competitive integrity. If PUBG wants players, streamers, partners, and esports professionals to trust these events, then enforcement needs to be transparent, consistent, and applied equally to everyone involved. Because when accusations of AFK farming, account sharing, and exploit abuse start appearing at the very top of the leaderboard, people naturally begin asking a simple question. Can the results really be trusted? And I'd go further. Why are these esports players willing to break the rules in these events which they know are wrong? They know very well that using exploits to gain an unfair advantage in a tournament are an instant ban, yet they are comfortable doing it in other parts of the game? Even where cash prizes are involved too, and all they get is a slap on the wrist about it? How do you feel about this? Do you think they should know better, and due to what was at stake, a more severe punishment should have been imposed? Or is this more Krafton's fault for poor implementation, where they should have expected these types of behaviors to happen? Please discuss further in the comments section below the video. Thank you for watching, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel.